Okay, we all good? All right. How cool is it? How cool is it to have the diary of Earth's true history at hand? We got the actual diary to what took place on the Earth, right? How cool is it to have that? This is exactly what Enki and Inducer left us. To embrace this information, you have to see it through the eyes of an intelligent, spiritually, and technically evolved beings. See, this is the thing when dealing with this Anunnaki information. You got to understand that you can't be trying to see it through the eyes of us. You got to see it through somebody who was a step above us. Okay? We are called Homo sapien. The Anunnaki would be considered super sapiens. All right? If we was to put it on a chart of evolution, the Anunnaki is what you would consider a super sapien. But the irony is that Enki gave his Abzu people super sapien essence. Let me say that again. We are called Homo sapien. The Anunnaki would be considered super sapiens. But the irony of this story is that Enki gave his Abzu super sapien essence. This you will find out later in this story. You will find out that this infuriated Enlil, who verbally chastised Enki for quote unquote making them like us. Enlil was pissed off when he found out that Enki had gave the hominids the ability, that these Anunnaki abilities. Okay? This is all coming up down the line, but you know I like to plant me some seeds. But that is why we are so hated. Yeah, exactly. He the biggest hater, trust me. But that is why we are so hated. It's the ability we possess that we received from their essence, which makes us different and physically gifted. And in so many ways, mentally gifted. So if you've ever wondered why black folks, had the abilities that we have, why we can jump higher, why we run faster, why we are better mentally. Think of all our inventions, all the creations, okay? If you've ever wondered why we had that leap, this is it. The whole reason you are hated is because Enki gave you something extra. Enlil didn't want the primitive workers to have something extra. He wanted them to just be primitive workers. He wanted the primitive workers to have something extra. He wanted them to just be primitive workers. Inventions to not shed primitive workers. Inventions to not shed light. Primitive workers. Inventions to not shed light on the They suppress information on our inventions to not shed light on the strength of the melanated mind. But my people, we are the math and the science that built this world. We all understand that, right? The melanated mind is the math and the science that built this world. Whites will credit the Greek Pythagoras for the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Y'all know about the Pythagorean theorem, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard of the Pythagorean theorem from Pythagoras. Maybe you don't quite understand the purpose of it, but if you've ever heard of it, give me a 1 in the chat. Okay. It's very glitchy today. Very glitchy. Right. When you're trying to figure out the area of, all right, for the purpose of geometry, architecture, paint, whatever it is, you need the Pythagorean theorem. But check this out. Whites will credit the Greek Pythagoras for that equation, but they leave out that Pythagoras studied in Chem for the equation. But they leave out that Pythagoras studied in Chem for. Where you think he got the information from? Where you think he got it from? Oh, they killing me with this. They killing me with this glitchiness. So where do you think he got that theorem from? He got it from the melanated mind. The melanated mind has been supreme. We just never bragged on it till now. Exactly. Yeah, the young sisters. The young sisters expanded the theorem. They expanded it. Yeah. Shout out. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? These Anunnaki gave us something different. They were with you before they were with any other groups. There was no other groups that they genetically altered during the time that they genetically altered us. They genetically altered us. You were their first student. The others. Don't let these people fool you. We didn't all pop up together. Melanated people was the first of modern civilization. This is the story of that. So again, how cool is it to be reading the diary of Earth's true history in full detail, no sugarcoats, no dilution. See, that's the thing we doing here. That shit that they gave y'all from the Bible, that was heavily diluted, that was filled with misconstrusions. It didn't answer no questions. It didn't tell you who was who. But the tablets answer these questions. Guys, it's a reason all the major institutions have studied these artifacts. It's a reason they put it in your face in movies like 10,000 BC, movies like Stargate. Y'all remember the movie Stargate? Some of this information is in the movie Stargate. And also, I told y'all to check out True Lies. Remember I told y'all go back and watch the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, True Lies? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. There's a picture from that movie. Y'all know this. All right. So I did some content on it a while back where I taught people about the Brotherhood of Babylon, because I knew a lot of people ain't know about the power beyond the Illuminati. There's a group that's far beyond the Illuminati called the Brotherhood of Babylon. And these are the elites that control this information, okay? So, in this movie, I told you Schwarzenegger is a CIA agent, a spy, and he is in a party with the world's elites, the most elite men on the world, the generals, the kings, you know, the big corporation, the big power brokers, okay? So in this room, for some reason, the director wanted you to see certain pieces of art. They kept panning the camera specifically to certain pieces of art. Let me show you. So first they pan the camera here. If you know anything about Anunnaki sculptures, Anunnaki statues, you know what you're looking at. Okay? Okay, so yeah. Shout out to Corlisa. Corlisa, you went and checked it out. Much love. So there you go right here. That's the first one they make sure you see, right? Everybody can see this one, right? We got a sculpture of Enki or Enlil, one of them Anunnaki right here, right? And then in the next scene, he's getting ready to walk up the steps. And to this one. This is another one that they had in another room up the steps. So every time he moves through this room, they was making sure you could see these statues because they wanted you to know that we study this information, that this elite information is what we govern our lives by and what we use to control you. Oh yeah, for sure they do. So now let me show you a real Anunnaki statue that they uncovered from underground. So look at it, get a good look at it, right? Get a good look at it. Don't it look very similar to this? Don't it look very similar to this? Same. Same, man. Come on now. The bull of Enlil. So they want you to see it. Yeah, that was his chimera. I told y'all that the Anunnaki created all kind of creatures. They had minotaurs, bulls with men head, all kind of stuff. We're gonna get into it. See what I'm saying? If you go over to Iraq, back in the day, you would see these everywhere. They took a lot of this stuff down and put it in museums. But if you went over to Iraq, Iran, in that area, you would see a lot of this stuff. I think I was telling Sister Corlisa about they wear watches. There you go, my love. There goes some of their wrist wear right there. It's a piece of technology. Well, I doubt if it's just a regular watch. I'm almost certain it's a piece of technology, but they rock earrings. Right? They rock jewelry. They rock, and remember this, you know, white boys call us trying to be flashy for rocking jewelry. We just emulating the people that came before us. So if you want to know who these Anunnaki were connected to first and foremost, that tells you everything you need to know right there. Look at their style, look at our style, look at the turban. If you know anything about the Moors, the Moors, this is where they got their turban from. Okay? Where you think Moorish science and math come from? Moorish science and math didn't come from them. They got it from the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, the Moors, the Amorites were some of their first students in the priesthood. It's some Moorish fairs right there. Please do your research. Go look up Moorish phrases. You'll see a whole lot of these. Go back to the old Alibaba movies. You're going to see a whole lot of this. So, God, it's a reason these major institutions have studied these artifacts. They are flaunting the fact that they have the truth and you don't. Well, that day is over. We are now in a blessed era known as the age of Aquarius, the golden cycle. It was promised that in this cycle, the veil would be lifted and all truths be revealed. I guarantee by the end of this course, those truths are going to be clear and evident for you. So now we have a glimpse of the Anunnaki early beginnings on their planet, right? They told us that once they were a primitive tribal civilization, and as time passed, they evolved in many ways. They explained this evolution by stating that once they fought with sticks and stones, but as they progressed in their technology, they began to fight. What used to be sticks and stones began to be fought with missiles and bombs. Y'all remember that? Soon turned into battles of weapons of terror, missiles and bombs, signifying their technical evolution. Yeah, sure, they be putting it in the games. I seen it like shit. Some of this is, I don't know if y'all remember that video game, God of War. God of War got a lot of Anunnaki connotations in it. Right? So they say that, you know, in their society, they once started out primitively, and then they advanced technically, and that advancement led to a different way they fought each other. Right? What used to be simple fighting turned into complex technical weaponry. They told us that these weapons of terror were used in great war on their planet between the north and the south of Nibiru. A war so devastating it nearly decimated the male population upon Nibiru. As a result, they decided a truce was best. During this truce, they agreed to unify the planet under one ruler. Instead of having a king and queen, instead of having a king in both regions, there will be one king for the entire planet. This was their plan. These stipulations were that whichever region the king is chosen from, a queen must be chosen from the opposite region. Therefore, ensuing, both regions had some power on the throne. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? This led to the Royal House of On, A-L-N. This is how the Anunnaki royals are referred to. The Royal House of On, A-L-N. They gave us a view of how they established the kingship, starting with King An and his queen An-Tu. The succession of kingship goes to the firstborn son. Any additional brothers will be princes unless the firstborn dies on the throne. Well, this is exactly what happened during the first succession. An had 3 sons, no daughters. His firstborn son was Enki, who did not take a wife, nor did he have a successor. Which leads me to think bro might have liked dudes. That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying. They were trying to bring this man they brought the man a lot of trim, and somehow, some way, ain't none of them women come up touch. Ain't none of them women come up touch, Enki. What's going on? So Enki was the firstborn. He died on the throne with no successor. So the succession fell to the second-born son, whose name was Ib. That name meant middle son. All Anunnaki names had some intrinsic meaning. We adopted this into our culture, right? So I don't know about other cultures, but I know in melanated culture, we tend to name our children with meaning. Okay, not everybody. Some of y'all got old Shinka Shay ass names. We damn sure ain't approve of these new age names, Killer and Shooter and all these other Pookie and Ray Ray. We ain't approve of these. But at one point in time, these names had great meaning. Okay? Ib married his youngest brother's daughter. Okay? Ib married his youngest brother's daughter. These incestuous relationships was a normal thing for the Anunnaki royals. This was their way of preserving the bloodline. This is still practiced by European royals and elites today. Okay? This keep it in the family method still today. The union between Ib and his niece is what gave birth to one of my favorite Anunnaki, a real player from the Himalaya. All right? So like I say, this incestuous relationship, probably so. This incestuous relationship, like I say, was a normal thing for Anunnaki royals. Ib's marriage to his youngest brother's daughter produced the fourth king on the throne. Okay, the fourth king on the throne, like I say, one of my favorite Anunnaki, a real player from the Himalaya. My brother, King Anshargalicious. Okay, what you know about King Anshargal? What you know about King Anshargal? Yes, the fourth king on the throne. The fourth king on the throne was Anshargal, who decreed that hoes for everybody. Okay, you get a hoe, you get hoes, all y'all get a bunch of hoes. So yeah. Okay, Anshargal, I see you, brother. Yes, Anshargal passed a law saying that man should have more than one spouse for knowing, to ensure the greatest chance of having an heir. My next son might be named Anshargal. I ain't no telling. Which made him extremely popular with the fellas, but landed him on the couch with his wife. More on that from my book, The Anunnaki, A Deeper Look, coming soon. All right. I'm gonna have to write the Anunnaki story with a deeper perspective. We're gonna have to look at what happened in between. You know it was some mess going on up in that house, man. You know it was some mess. And Shargal's queen, whose real name was Keisha, not making it up, her name was Keisha Gal. Okay? Like I told y'all, these black folks, man. And we know she black folks, how she handled the situation. And Shargal's queen, whose real name was Keisha, could not get pregnant. And then Shargal ended up getting one of his concubines pregnant, which led to an Ike and Tina-like beating in the back of the limo when Tina whooped up on Ike. That's how Keisha girl put them hands on Shargal. Beat that nigga ass up. And you know this to be true because my boy got all humble and decided to change the law to favor his wife over the concubine. That boy feared for his life, man. Boy, that woman got tired of his shit. She was trying to be all queenly and baby. Boy, I'm saying, nigga, you got me fucked up. Her sisters them came over to the house. I'm gonna just keep it real. Y'all know what happened. Her sisters pulled up, her friends, they was already over there. Y'all think Shargal changed this law for no reason? Man, he had that woman whole family. Every woman from that woman family was on his ass. So yeah, man, that man had to get humble and change the law. So he created the law of double seed, which trumps the law of espousal. Their law of espousal stated that any firstborn son could be the successor, regardless of whom he was birthed by. Meaning your mama could be a concubine thot, and you could still be the king of a planet. Ain't that something? When Keisha girl got pregnant, now we don't know who got her pregnant. She saying Shargal got her pregnant. I guess he finally them little semen finally started working for her or something. But you know, I'm telling you, we're gonna take a deeper look. I think Keisha girl slept with her goddamn guard. As the B-Root turns, man. We're gonna make the Anunnaki story a soap opera. That's what I'm gonna do. I think Keisha girl slept with her guard at the door and came back and told Aunt Shargal that was his baby. But that's neither here nor there. Let's just stick with the information. When Keisha girl got pregnant, after the concubine, she kicked Aunt Shargal's ass and made him change the law in true black woman fashion. So if Aunt Shargal was the first to represent for the fellas, Keisha girl should be forever remembered as the first sister that was fed up with a nigga in his shit. Okay? So let's give it up one time for Keisha girl being fed up with a nigga in his shit. Because she was. When a woman fed up. Go on, kid. She was fed up with that nigga, boy. So the concubine's son was named Elam. Elam was skipped over. And the succession went to Keisha girl's son, and his name was Enshar. Enshar being the fifth king to reign on the unified throne. All right? So this was the Anunnaki giving us a look at their primitive beginnings, at their technological advancement, at the establishment of their kingship. Okay? So they're showing us the lineage of their kingship, right? So we get the Enshar, who would be the fifth king on the throne. Enshar would be succeeded by the sixth king, who was a concubine birthed by the name of Du'uru. Okay? Du'uru, who did not have a successor with his wife due to cataclysmic famine upon the land, which rendered women to be barren, Du'uru's successor would come through adoption. When someone left a child on the palace doorsteps where Du'uru's wife found the child, cared for the child, and convinced Du'uru to adopt him. They named him Lama, which means dryness. His name indicating the conditions he was born in. Okay? So I know when we talked about that the other day, I want to say one of the brothers mentioned it sounds like the story of Moses. Well, what I want y'all to know is this. These biblical stories have been recycled. So a lot of these, like I told, first of all, we know this information came from the Sumerian tablet. But I want y'all to know something. Like the story of the Immaculate Conception, y'all do know these biblical stories existed in other religions before Christianity, right? There's like 8 other religions that had the story of an Immaculate Conception and a Messiah before Christianity. A lot of people don't know that. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that. If you know about like the story of Mithra. Mithra was a Greek god, and they had the same story of a Messiah. Horus, the story of Horus. The story of Horus is the birth of a virgin birth story, Immaculate Conception story. So I want y'all to understand. What's up, SOE? Shout out to my brother SOE in the building. I want y'all to understand. Yeah, they is Jay Swing. I got some content that is gonna be coming up soon dealing with that. Okay, but these biblical, I just want y'all to know, man. All that biblical shit that we got is like recycled information. We are living off of recycled information. Okay? So a lot of these stories, if they sound familiar in some way, is because of that. This is why it's important to get the truth, right? I just did some content on Chief Kuttah 1212 page where I talked about the origins of Easter, the origins of Christmas, because people don't know this. People don't know that Saturnalia, right, is the original reason for December 25th worship. Saturnalia was a Greek festival between December 17th and December 23rd. And Pope Julius I declared that on December 25th that they'll celebrate the Christmas celebration, but this was to use the Christmas celebration to disguise the fact that he was worshiping the pagan gods. Okay? So yeah, man, folks need to know that, man. This is a part of the deception. This is a part of the great deception that we live upon. That's why we're trying to get to the truth so that we can make sure we are following the right path, make sure that we are honoring the right entities. You don't want to be worshiping the wrong entity. You don't want to be giving energy to something you shouldn't be. Okay? Because in Matthew has a passage that deals with that game, right? It's a passage in Matthew, right, that we're being told is a message from God, and God is saying that depart from me, ye that does iniquity. I don't know you, right? And people are professing to Christ, I have cast out many in your name. I have worshiped in thy name. And God says, I don't know you. Remove yourself from me. I don't know you. And that passage is about folks who never received the true understanding, who was led by the false understanding. Okay? So yeah, man, this is why this truth is important. Very important. But Lama, back to Lama. The Uru didn't have a child with his wife or a concubine. He adopted Lama. So Lama succeeded to the throne. Lama was the 7th on the throne. Okay? Now, for the first time on the throne was someone who had no royal blood. And to make matters worse, he chose a common wife that also had no royal blood. Okay, so y'all remember about Lama? The people didn't like Lama that much. This made him unfavored by other Anunnaki royals. Also, Lama rubbed the people the wrong way with his indecision on his solutions for the cataclysm that Nibiru was dealing with. You must remember they have a huge hole in their atmosphere, which is causing UV light to wreak havoc on their land, causing famines and droughts. These people were pressuring Lama to make a decision. This led to a revolt by a prince from the royal house. This prince was known as Alalu, a.k.a. the first Diddy. He the first TD Jakes. That's what I'm going to call him. Alalu Jakes. Because he swallowed up anew in his time of need. Okay? We're going to call him Alalu Jakes. All right? Prince Alalu, come on, man. Come on, man. Swallow that boy up, man. Goodness gracious. Prince Alalu chased King Lama and caused him to fall to his death. After Lama lay dead, Alalu marched into the throne room, sat upon the throne, and declared himself king. This was not smiled upon by the savants in the royal council. They did not know Alalu. They wanted Alalu to prove that he had blood relation to the royal house. So Alalu explained that he was related to the concubine's son that was skipped over for King Inshar. And through him, he has the blood of An within him. Okay? So Alalu's claim to the throne was that he was related to the guy that got skipped over, you know, when Keisha Girl beat up Ann Shargal and made that man disown his own son. Keisha Girl made that man disown his own son. The women don't be caring. That's how them lionesses be. Them lionesses be like, get this goddamn baby out of here. You know what I'm saying? So she threw the baby in the trash, man. Keisha Girl raw. So anyway, this concubine's son that was skipped over, his name was Alam. And Alalu's claim is that he was related to Alam. So this would mean, yeah, he technically is of royal blood, but a diluted bloodline, okay? Not a pure bloodline. This was almost good enough to grant him king. But then another prince stepped up and claimed he was from a more pure line, undiluted by concubine. Bang, bang, shots fired. They gonna make it known. Look, man, my mama wasn't from no concubine. That's what I knew. I knew stepped up and say, hey, man, I'm pure blood, bro. Ain't no concubine thoughts in my line. The throne should go to me. So they tested Anu's genealogy, and he was right. His kinship showed he was directly related to An and Antu through their third and youngest son, Inama. So this was An's third son that they didn't give his name at first. His name was Inama. Inama was the great-great-grandfather of Anu. Anu was pure seed, Alalu was not. But Alalu, who we presume was much older than Anu, persuaded the younger prince to allow him to retain the throne and instead become his successor in waiting. As a sweetener, Alalu offered Anu his daughter for his firstborn son to marry. Anu accepted. Alalu's first action was to try and remedy the atmospheric rip. The savants had come up with two ideas. One was to retrieve a mineral that was very rare on their planet called gold. The only source of gold that they knew about was from the asteroid belt. They knew that this gold could be used as a heat shield to protect the atmosphere, to heal the atmosphere. The other idea was to blow up volcanoes so that they created a blanket atmosphere of soot and ash. Okay? So that blanket atmosphere of soot and ash will protect the land from receiving all of that heat. The gold idea was good, but retrieving the gold from the asteroid belt was almost impossible and caused great loss of life in ships. So they lost a lot of people and they lost a lot of ships with that move. Now you see why Anu stepped up and wanted Alalu off the throne. It wasn't just because he got impatient. Alalu's ideas were not working. The volcano idea was an epic failure. This made people grow more impatient and also made Anu impatient. He decided to no longer wait, and he challenged Alalu to the throne. Now y'all know how that went. I don't really care for how they, decided to get down. I really don't. But, that's their business, okay? So, on Anunnaki, if men fight skin on skin, that's their business. And we ain't gonna start doing that shit, okay? But that's their business, all right? So Alalu and Anu had it, I hate to say it, but they got it on. They got it on, okay? And Alalu took the worst of that. Okay, he was defeated. He caught some balls to the face, some penis to the jaw, and he was defeated. It's bad enough to get beat up in front of everybody. It's double bad to have some man's penis smacking you across the face while he's beating your ass. I'm just saying, that's neither here nor there. It's terrible. So Alalu was defeated, and he had to forfeit the throne as a result of losing. But Alalu decided that he was not going to be a good sport. So Alalu decided to jump in a spaceship and chart his course from where he thought he could retrieve the gold. Not the asteroid belt, but this time from Tiamat, or what was left of Tiamat that we now called Earth. Alalu jumped in his spaceship and charted his course for the Earth. He made a successful journey. He landed. He got out. He surveyed the land. He discovered the gold. At this point, nobody even knew Alalu was gone. Ain't nobody know he was gone. Ain't nobody give a shit. I'm just be real. Ain't anybody give a shit. When Anu took over, everybody was partying. They were happy. I guess they hated Alalu so bad, they didn't even care what had happened to him. Now, Alalu, now keep in mind, now you know you ain't shit if you've been gone for 3,600 years and don't nobody know your ass gone. You know you ain't worth a damn. You've been gone 36, you've been gone a whole shar and don't nobody know your ass gone. Ain't nobody know Alalu was gone till he called back. Phone rung. One of the savants picked it up. Hello, Anunnaki Inc. Hey, is a new in there? Excuse me, sir, who is this speaking? Nigga, this Alalu, nigga. Alalu? Alalu, we thought you... Nigga, put Anu on the phone. Don't worry about where I'm at. Put Anu on the phone. Okay, sir. Right away. It's Alalu. Who? Alalu. That nigga ain't dead. I thought I killed him. Hello, Alalu. This Anu, man. What's going on? What's happening, fuck nigga? Yeah, you thought I was dead, huh? Oh, you niggas thought you killed me, huh? Yeah, I can still smell your balls on my face. I don't like it one bit. So let me tell you what we gonna do. I got what you need. Yeah, nigga, I got the gold. You know that shit y'all say gonna save the planet, save everybody's life, make everything better? I got it, nigga. Now, what's gonna happen is I'm changing the way things is running. I'm on my way back in the B-room. I want my crown cleaned off. I want my throne washed. And I want your funky ass beside the throne where you supposed to be, nigga. I'm coming back. Anu say, Alalu, what you hey, man, calm down. It ain't no problem. Hey, Alalu, listen, first things first. I'm just glad you okay. We've been looking for you, my nigga. We just got through looking for you like 1,600 years ago. We just got through looking for you. I've been worried about you, bro. You ain't got to be mad. I've been worried about you. Listen, do what I'm going to do. Don't even trip. Just stay down there. Stay down there. Listen, I'm finna send my son. I'm finna gas up the whip. I'm finna send my son. He gonna come pick you up. You a king, my nigga. You shouldn't even be traveling by yourself. I'm finna send my son to come pick you up. Don't even worry. Sit tight. All right? Everything cool? We good? You got you some weed down there? Okay, you straight there. Listen, finna send the boy right now. Everything all good, my brother. I'll let you later. Peace. I knew hung up the phone, say, man, fuck that nigga. We finna put together a plan. We finna finesse. We finna call my savants. Y'all put together a finesse strategy for Alalu. Okay? So I knew at that point, like I said, you got to see it through black folks' eyes, man. We dealing with black folks from the cosmos. You got to see it through black folks' eyes, baby. So Anu decides, come here, son. I'm gonna send you down here to see what the fuck going on. Don't tell him nothing. When you verify that he got what we need, you call me back. And I'm gonna handle it from there. So boom, Enki. Yeah. Star of the show. Our star, Enki. Enki jump in the ship, powers it up, wham. Get the earth, pop out, see Alalu, show him love, because that's his father-in-law. Let's not forget, Alalu is the father-in-law to Enki. Alalu gave Anu his daughter for his firstborn son to marry as a pot sweetener for staying as his successor. So he see his father-in-law, they embrace, hug, love, everything cool. Lalu and Enki cool, they ain't got no beef. You know what I'm saying? Enki don't hate that man because Enki really don't like his daddy like that. Enki love his daddy, but he really don't like him because he know his daddy be fucking over him. All right? So anyway, boom, you know, sometimes you be cool, sometimes you might be a little bit cooler with your father-in-law than you are with your daddy. It's just like that. So anyway, boom. Him and Enki, they putting in work. First day go by. Second day go by. Third day go by. Fourth day, fifth day, sixth day go by. Seventh day, we rested. Like the good books say, the seventh day will be a day for rest, henceforward. That's where we get it from. So your 7 days of creation was not 7 days of forming the earth. It was 7 days of establishing the encampment. Okay? The first 7 days upon the earth, them your 7 days of creation right there. All right? If you wasn't here for that, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go watch me on YouTube. So, once they got everything set up, we know we got some gold down here. We called back. Dad, that nigga wasn't lying. He got the gold. We definitely can say in the B-room, what you want me to do next? Okay, cool. Listen, let me handle it from here. I'm finna send your brother. Enlil finna come down there. And when he come, I want him in charge. Okay? What you mean, Dad? I'm already down here running. Nigga, listen, I want your brother in charge. He tougher than you. I'm sorry I gotta say it like that. Your brother Enlil way tougher than you. You into books and shit. He like to fight. I want the nigga that want to fight to be in charge. Simple as that. Now, I'm going to send your brother down there. I'm going to put him in charge. He going to set up the parameters of everything, all right? If Alalu down there talking shit, tell Alalu if he want the crown, that motherfucker got to fight me again. He going to have to fight me again, and if he whoop me, I'll give him the crown back, all right? So I'm finna send your brother. Y'all take care of business. Call me back. Boom. Now Enlil on the way. Enlil on the way with more tools, more workers. Enlil get to the earth. He start bossing niggas around. Enki look at him real quick like, man, you my little brother, man. You ain't finna be telling me what to do, especially down here, nigga. I was down here before you. You ain't finna tell me what to do. And then Enlil like a bitch, I'm gonna call Dad. I'm gonna call Dad. So he, Dad, Enki won't listen to me. God damn, bro, you been down there for 2 minutes and you already calling me back? But Enki won't listen to me. I told him you told me to be in charge. Put him on the phone. Enki, I expect better for you. I told you your brother gonna be in charge. I don't want to hear this shit no more. He in charge. Now, if you got a problem, listen, I tell you what. I'm on my way. Since y'all gonna be down there fucking around, I'm on my way. Okay? I'm on my way. So, boom. Now, Anu is headed to Earth. Anu is headed to Earth to oversee how far they have gotten so far. Okay? So Anu get to the Earth. He oversees what they have found so far. He say, okay, I see what we got going on. So Enki and Alalu had established what they called Eridu. That's the area from which your Garden of Eden is located. The Garden of Eden was nothing more than beachfront property, an orchard on the beach. Tropical lands, tropical fruits, easy to understand. Okay? They called it the Eden because that meant home of the upright ones. Abode of the upright ones. That's what Eden meant. Okay? Everybody liked being in the Eden. And nobody want to go work down in the damn Abzu. Okay, the Abzu is what they called Africa. Okay, is what they called Africa. All right. We discussed that a little bit yesterday. I want to give a shout out to Kanayo and I want to say one of the other brothers we was talking about. We was talking about the name Africa, and we was trying to talk about who gave it the name Africa. Guys, let me make sure y'all understand this. There's a lot of discussion and debate about where the name Africa comes from. Okay, you're gonna hear about 7 different discussions. Now, yesterday I picked up from one of y'all that the name Al-Kibilon was a name that was granted from the Arabs. But the truth is, that's also an African name. It didn't come from the Arabs. It actually came from the Moors. So I don't know if people are, when they hear the term Moor, is thinking about Arab Moors, but the original Moors were black people. And they used that name Al-Kibilon. Al-Kibilon meant motherland, right? But in Kim, it's written in hieroglyphics. Also in Ethiopia, it's written in hieroglyphics that they had a word that meant mother of man. Okay? So in Kim, they had a word called Afrique. You heard me? In Kim, they had a word called Afrique, Afrike. And that word meant mother of man, meaning like this is where we get the term motherland from. All right? So the name Africa, and it definitely didn't come from the Greeks, because the Greeks came there and visited. Africa had already had these connotations. They had in the name, listen, let me tell y'all something. It was never an official name. Let me say this. This is why wasn't nobody wrong. This is why it was never an official name. What it was a description. It was a title of the land. So the fact that it was the land that gave birth to the first civilization, they called it the motherland, the mother of man. This is where man started. This land is man's mother, okay? And so it was never considered a wide-ranging title, but this is the history of it. So, far as I'm concerned, guys, Africa, okay? But you gotta remember, and you gotta remember, my brother, that the Arabs come after us. So anybody that come after us can't give us nothing, right? So that's just like the term Egypt. We learned using the term Egypt. The Greeks, that was just a term that they made up for their land. We shouldn't be giving credence to it because they made that up for their land. You can come visit somewhere. That's just like if you go to China, and China already got the name China, but you decide that, oh, I'm gonna name it home of the yellow people, right? And in your language, home of the yellow people means Ubuntu, right? So you will go back and have all your people calling China Ubuntu. And if your people are powerful people, 4,000 years in the future, everybody will be calling China Ubuntu, home of the yellow people. So these names, like I say, these are the Greeks. The Greeks are the students and the children of Africa. They don't predate Africa. They studied in Africa. They learned from Africa. Yeah, we are the original Arabs, melanated people. That's what this is why we teach. Like even the concept of the Middle East, we got to throw that shit away, man. They made up that term in the 80s, guys. They coined that term in the 80s. There ain't no such thing as the Middle East. That's Africa. There's no water separating what you call the Middle East from Africa. You can walk from from Kim into Canaan, into the what used to be the Fertile Crescent. You can walk into that. So that's all Africa. We the original Berbers. We the original Murs. We are the original people. This information that you are learning is about the 200,000 years that we existed before the others came onto the scene. And I'm going to teach y'all where the others come from. Okay? I'm going to make all that make sense to y'all. It's coming. It is coming. Okay? So anyway, back to the recap. Let me finish recapping it so we can read what we need to read. So Anu shows up and he puts everything in order. He basically, listen, Enlil gonna be in charge. Enki, who loved the Eden, wanted to have everything in the Eden. No, that's not. See, let me educate user right quick. Hey, homie, you need to go do some research. You a baby brain. You a little boy. Scipio Africanus took that name when he defeated Carthage. See, you left that part out. That's how we know you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Scipio Africanus took that name when he defeated Carthage in battle. He took the name Africanus because he defeated an African nation, not because he named it, dumbass. This is why we don't let baby brains. It was another baby brain on my content, and he said some dumb shit. Leandro, y'all remember Buddy say, oh, you know why Noah and Adam were so old, right? You know why they aged in dog years, right? I was like, man, what is this dude talking about? This is why we don't let baby brains in the discussion. They watch videos. This nigga, this user, whoever user just said that. Look at this. He said, Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus. Do your research, dude. Go do your research. Don't come your ass up in here. I'm a master of my knowledge. Scipio Africanus defeated Carthage in a battle. And after that battle, they gave him the title of Africanus, which means this is the name of the people that he defeated. He didn't name them. He took the name because these were the people he defeated. Get your goof ass out of here. That's why we don't let baby brains in here because they come up in here with that video knowledge. They ain't did no real research. I can't stand people who spew information that they have not put the proper work in to be speaking. Stop confusing our people with this dumb ass shit. If you don't know the knowledge, stop acting like you a teacher. We need to stop that. You gotta earn this shit, man. You gotta earn it, man. You gotta put in some real work, man. You can't watch a couple videos and then pop out here and be like, hey, man, I'm woke, man. I know stuff. Because a nigga like me gonna smell you coming and I'm gonna expose you. I'm gonna smell you coming and I'm gonna expose you. He couldn't wait to drop that fun fact. That's a fun fact nigga right there. I can't stand the fun fact dudes. They learned a little, that name Africa came from, how the fuck a nigga from 1,000 years ago gonna name a landmass that was together for 400,000 years? He talking, the Scipio Africanus is from like 1,500 years ago. How the hell somebody from 1,500 years ago gonna name a landmass that was already in place? Goofy. Don't come in my room with that baby brain ass knowledge. Don't come in my room with that baby brain. That's why we're getting ready to establish my debate platform. I'm getting ready to establish a debate platform for all these dudes that act like they know the knowledge. We're going to turn this into a sport. We're going to turn this into a sport. We're going to see what you really know. Because I'm tired of everybody acting like they know. Everybody don't know. If you don't start from the Sumerian tablets and go forward, you don't have a clue. You got to start from the beginning. Goofy dude. I remember when I learned that about Scipio Africanus. I learned that shit 10 years ago. And you know what I said when I learned that shit? Oh, this the nigga that named Africa. Because I was a fucking baby brain back then. I ain't afraid to admit that. I was young in my journey. That's the kind of shit you learn young in your journey, and it excites you so much, and you thinking it's the truth till you do your real research, you do your due diligence, and you realize, oh shit, I was wrong. Now let me tell y'all something right quick. If you following somebody that call themselves teaching and they can't admit to you that at one point in time they had some information wrong, they not a real teacher. Because everybody that traveled this journey has had some information that got contradicted later in life when new information came to light. That's the journey of a teacher. So, Anu establishes who's going to be in control of what upon the earth. He gives the Abzu to Enki. This makes Enki sad because Enki don't want to be in the Abzu. Enki don't want to be in that hot African sun, mining that gold. He wanted to stay in the cool shade in the Eden where he could work on his laboratory. He can work in his laboratory, right? Instead, Anu gave the Eden to Enlil, okay? And he put Enki in the Abzu. Now, after he set up lots, Anu was like, okay, we all good. I came down to earth. I took care of business. I don't want y'all down here fighting. I'm finna go back home because your mama waiting on me. Anu was on his way back to the ship, and Alalu said, excuse me. Nigga, then you forget, nigga, we got some business. Nigga, the whole reason you came down here is for us to discuss that business, and you ain't even said a word to me. Am I invisible? Right? Lalu say, nigga, did you look right through me? So how we gonna handle this business? Anu looked at him, he said, this nigga. I did forget about you, nigga, because you unimportant. You a sucker. We played you. We finessed you. We got the gold plug. We got your plug now. We don't need you no more. You done. Huh? Oh, so it's like that, Anu? I thought you was honorable. Anu said, you know what? I am honorable. We're going to fight again. If you beat me, you get the throne. If I beat you, I'm going my ass home. So they square off for part 2. The thriller in Manila. Anu standing 15 foot tall, 700 pounds, versus Alalu standing 14 feet tall, 585 pounds. Buck naked again on Earth. They had to bring that shit to the Earth. Couldn't leave it on the Biru. They had to bring it to the Earth. So here we go again. Penis swinging everywhere, and they fight. Anu hit him with a quick 2-piece. Boop, boop. Alalu couldn't take it. Face bounced off the penis, fell to the ground. It was over. Quick. Anu told, hey, nigga, I told you can't fuck with me. You done. Anu put his foot on his chest and laughed. Anu said, all right, man, look, better yet, this nigga ain't gonna even have no role. Enki, he worked for you. He worked for you now. I'm gone. I'm finna go back. Anu was on his way back to the ship, and Alalu got up, wiped the dirt off his eyes, lunged for Anu, and had his mouth wide open. And somehow, some way, he landed square on the man's penis. Alalu bit the man's penis off. Give me all 9 inches. Spit the head out. Disgusting. Disgusting. So Alalu then bit a man's dick. The first heinous act in Earth's history. Let that be written in the Earth annals. The first heinous act in Earth's history was the biting of a man's penis. Manhood bite. Bites the man. Mortally wounded my boy. Mortally wounded my boy. Now Lalu sitting over there laughing and got dick juice running down his face, got blood and dick. I told you I'll get you back. That ain't no flex, my nigga. You was a sore loser and you did the nasty. So now Alalu is facing expulsion. He's basically facing a death sentence. The boys decide that they were going to give him a day in court. He was to be judged by the 7 who judge. They wanted to kill Alalu. They wanted to outright kill him, but Enki said, nah. Then my dad-in-law, I ain't going to be able to explain that to my wife that we killed her daddy down here on this planet. So we got to do something better. He said, listen, Alalu going to die from that dick in his belly, okay? Because Anunnaki dick is not meant to be in the belly, okay? It ain't meant to be soiled in the belly. Some about it, it's toxic, some toxic penis. So Enki says that the penis is going to kill him, okay? It swole his belly up like he was pregnant. Guess he was infected from the inside, and Enki said that they would kill him. Let that be the punishment. Enki said, instead, let's banish him, let's exile him, and let him just live out his last days with dick in his stomach. That's a tough walk, man. Your last days on earth. That's how you go out. Imagine when you get to wherever you going, right? If heaven did exist and niggas be like, man, how you died? I was in a car wreck. I got shot. I bit a nigga dick off. He said, niggas in heaven gonna be like, you did what? That's how you get here? So Enki decided, hey, let's ban him, let's exile. So they rendered the judgment. They say, listen, Alalu, you are banned. You are banned from Nibiru. You are banned from Earth. Anu said there's a planet that we passed on the way here that has atmosphere and water. They call that planet Mars. Anu said that we will build a way station on Mars. Take Alalu to Mars and let him be exiled upon that planet. At that time, one of the pilots stepped up and volunteered to stay with Alalu until he died. They wanted to still show some honor to Alalu because he was a former king of Nibiru. So it wasn't like, everybody wanted to completely throw him away. Some of the dudes, just out of some form of honor, wanted to make sure that he can be put to rest properly as a former king of Nibiru. So Anzu decided to take on that task, which was a heavy task, right? Because he was going to be on this planet with Alalu that he don't know nothing about, pretty much alone. So Anu was very, very appreciative of Anzu wanting to stay with Alalu. And Anu told Anzu, you will be known as a hero for this. And the next time when we on our way to Earth to bring resources, I will have my people stop by Mars. And if you are alive, because he's going to be down there for another 3,600, 4,000 years. He says, if you are alive, we're going to pick you up, give you what you need, and make you the commander of the way station on Mars. Okay? So that is where we left off, guys. We left off with Anzu and Alalu on Mars. And that today is where we will begin. All right? So big shout out to the family. Much love, gang. Much love to everybody. That was a recap, okay? I hope everybody remembers the information. I hope your mind is geared up to go. We finna get started here in about 5 minutes, all right? So take some time right now. Show some love to the chat. Show some love to the live. Hit the likes, gifted. As soon as I get back, we gonna get started on reading, all right? I'm gonna run some tunes. I gotta step away for 2 minutes, but I'll be right back, all right? In the house today, if you're not a member, we got to remove you from the live, especially if you ain't gifting the live. If you ain't showing no love, homie, and you just sitting up in here being entitled like I'm just supposed to be performing for you, you got another thought coming. I'm doing this for my people. These people, the people that's gifting, the people that paid for the course, the people that's tapped in. So all of the folks that's in here that's not a course member, if you are not a UMF member, if you are not a paid course member, we got to remove you from the live, man. You sitting up here sucking up game and you ain't showing no love. That's weird to me. That's weird. So if you get blind, man. We good to go. Appreciate it, G. Let's go. We headed to the galaxy, baby. Let's get it. Now, this is the account of the return of Anu to Nibiru and how Alalu on Mars was buried, how Enlil on Earth built the landing place. Remember when I talked to y'all yesterday about the landing place? Appreciate it, Michael Jack. Appreciate it, brother. Much love, man. Like I say, I don't mind folks hanging around, right? But show some love, man. You know what I mean? If I come to your restaurant and I eat, I'm going to tip your restaurant because that's what bosses do. Peons are looking for shit for free. Peons don't heap value upon nothing that they value. Okay, so I don't want no peons in the place. I hope I got bosses in the space. And that's who I rock with. Okay, so shout out to Michael Jack. Shout out to anybody that's not a group member that's showing the love. If you show the love, we're going to bring you around. We're going to let you hang out. But otherwise, go find somewhere else to hang out. You understand? So yesterday, I talked to y'all a little bit about the landing place. Enlil, Anu told Enlil and Enki to build somewhere so he ain't got to land in no goddamn water no more. That's basically what he was telling him. He said, hey, man, and build something that we can land on. I ain't going to be goddamn down here landing in no river, man, landing in no damn ocean, okay? So one of the tasks that they got is to get that landing place built and to get this show on the road, all right? So let's do that. Let's do just that, all right? Now, this is the account of the return of Anu to Nibiru and how Alalu on Mars was buried and how Enlil on Earth built the landing place. On Nibiru, there was a joyous welcome for Anu. Of what had happened to the council and the princess, Anu gave account. Neither pity nor vengeance from them all he sought. To discuss the task ahead, he instructed them all. To the assembled, a vision great in scope he outlined. Way stations from Nibiru to Earth to establish. All the sun's family in one kingdom to encompass. Real quick. They said, let's establish way stations between the Earth and Nibiru. This is how we end up with the civilization on the moon. This is how we end up with the structures on Mars. This is how we end up with Enlil having his throne on Saturn. Enlil, you will find out, is the Lord of the Rings. He is the god of Saturn, the king of Saturn, okay? This is how all this happened because they were setting up way stations on these planets, right? So they ended up occupying either these celestial bodies or these planets, okay? The first on Mars to be fashioned, the moon for the plans also to be considered. So they say establish the first way station on Mars. Also, let's consider the moon. On the other planets or their circling hosts, also set up stations. A chain, a constant caravan of chariots to supply and safeguard. They're explaining the logistics. How we going to ship? How we going to ship the gold from point A to point B? All right? The gold from Earth without interruptions bring to the Nibiru. Perchance, somewhere else also to find gold. The counselors, the princes, the savants, Anu's plans considered. Starting to feel like Doom, like the series Doom, chasing that spice. Remember they wanted to go to Paracas and take over the spice in Paracas, and wherever they could find it, what the house name was, house something. What's up, Eel? I forgot what the name of the royal house is on there. But yes, it's kind of like the same way. House of Trades, yeah, let's get it. Shout out to my Doom people, man. Y'all put me up on Doom. Y'all know I'm addicted to Doom, right? Oh boy, I can't wait. We got the new series coming out, I think this week. I can't wait. Shit, man, y'all put me up on Doom, dog. Shout out to the fam. So now you see where they drawing this information from, okay? The salvation of the Nibiru in the plans they all saw promise. Savants and commanders, knowledge of the planets perfected. To chariots and skyships, a new kind, rocket ships, were added. Heroes for the task were selected. For the task, there was much learning. The plans of Enki and Enlil were beamed over. Preparations on Earth to hurry, they were told. On Earth of what had happened and what to be done is required. There was much discussion. Enki, Alligar to be of Eridu, the overseer, was appointed. His own steps to the Abzu he directed. Where to obtain gold from Earth's bowels he then determined. What task to the heroes are needed, he calculated. What tools are required, he contemplated. Okay, so Enki is starting to make a list of the tools that he gonna need to mine the gold. The machines that he gonna need to mine the gold, all right? So here we go, listen up. He says he needs an earth splitter. With cleverness, Enki designed. On Nibiru, that it be fashioned, he requests. Okay? An earth splitter. There in the earth to make a gash. Its innards reach by way of tunnels. Now, guys, what if I told y'all we got an earth splitter that we use today? Huh? What if I told you we use an earth split? That this is one of the tools we use today. Not so much humanity, but one specific really, really wealthy guy has one of these. There's one specific really, 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 really wealthy guy that uses one of these for his company. This, my friends, would be Elon Musk. Elon Musk has a company called the Boring Company. Okay, yeah, shout out to my boy, my bros in here. They know what time it is. Elon Musk, of the many companies he have, one of his companies is called the Boring Company. Okay, so when you hear that name, you think boring, like ain't got shit to do. But it's actually a play on words. Okay, so he spells it. He spells it like boring, right? But yeah, they used it in LA to make that tunnel. They used it in LA to make the underground tunnel, for sure. So it's a play on words. He spells it like boring to kind of make a joke, but it actually is boring, like you bore a hole, right? Do we understand that? When you dig into the earth, it's called boring. You are boring a hole into the earth, okay? So Elon has a machine that bores into the earth and that creates these tunnels. So nobody ain't got to go and dig it out. You ain't got to take a bulldozer in there. You ain't got to take you ain't got to have an excavator in there doing all of that type of work. You don't have to have that in there. You just simply use this boring machine and it'll bore right through the earth, create the tunnels. Okay? So right now, today, the same machine that Enki is talking about is the same machine that Elon Musk has access to. Elon Musk uses this machine to do, I mean, it's a ton of jobs he did, but one job in particular, like what Black Lex just said, in LA, they got an underground highway. I don't know if y'all know about it. Black Lex just told y'all about it. They got an underground highway specifically for Tesla drivers. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about that. There's an underground highway in LA that goes under all of the traffic specifically for Tesla drivers. Okay, this was created using the boring machine. Yeah, look it up if you get a chance. And like I say, guys, it's always good. Validate anything you hear me say. That's why I say take notes and validate it. So when you get a chance, you can Google it and check it out. The Boring Company. I'm pretty sure that's really the next frontier is these underground highways and shit. Well, you already know they got these underground tunnels anyway. They've been had them. The reptilians put them down there. But now, like I say, this is the new frontier is building these underground highways. And he's doing it with the boring machine, with an earth splitter, okay? So I thought I'd share that to y'all. So Enki is saying that they need an earth splitter. They need a boring machine, okay? He said, he called it that which crunches, that which crushes, okay? So, because it crunches and crushes, all right? Yeah, for sure. Nuclear power, yeah, come on with it. Of other matters, Nibiru savants, he contemplated to ask. Of matters of health and well-being of the heroes, the needs he listed. To the heroes, Earth's quick circuits were upsetting. Earth's quick day and night cycles were causing dizziness. So the cycles on Earth was causing a problem with the Anunnaki's health. Okay, it was causing, like they say, it was causing some dizziness and some other ailments. They said that the atmosphere, though good, was in some things lacking, in other things too abundant. Okay, so what they saying that some things that we didn't have, that their atmosphere had, and some things in our atmosphere was too abundant. Okay, of the sameness of the food, the heroes were complaining. So now you got your first complaints now. Okay, so listen up. I know y'all hear people a lot when they talk about the Anunnaki, they use the term fallen angels. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard that terminology used to explain the Anunnaki. You heard fallen angel, they're the fallen angels. Okay. So my job is to give you the authentic understanding so you can throw that shit out. Okay? They're not angels at all. They're not fallen angels. They're not angels. Okay? If you were present for my introductions, I gave you my System of God class. I explained to you that God has a system of beings called archons that we called angels. Okay? These are not the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are just like us, just more evolved. They're just at a different level of evolution, okay? This concept of them being fallen angels come from the same concept that they were the gods. So that's where you get that whole concept from. People perceive them to be the gods, and the idea of the fallen angels comes from the heroes or the workers, okay? So what you're going to see later down the line is that these workers are going to be complaining about conditions. They're going to be complaining about the heat, the work, the missing their family. All right, this complaint right here is the first complaint we get, right? They're complaining about the cycles of Earth and about the food. They say they're tired of the same food. Didn't I tell y'all this was a human story? Ain't that what we do as humans? When we don't like something, we complain about it. We bitch, we whine. So these workers are going to complain and complain till they get to the point where they decide to revolt. Their revolt against the Anunnaki High Council was viewed in history as a separation from God, or the people that turned against God. Guys, these were disgruntled employees who decided they didn't want to do the work no more. So they are not fallen angels. They are disgruntled employees, okay? I'm planting a seed for later. Keep that in your pocket because we're going to come back to that. But this is their first complaint. They're complaining about the sameness of the food. Of the sameness of the food, the heroes were complaining. Enlil, the commander, by the heat of the sun on earth, was afflicted. For coolness and shade, he was longing. While in the Abzu, Enki was making preparations. Enlil, in his sky ship, the extent of the Eden was surveying. Okay? So let me, I guess I got to pull up this map right quick because we need to... I think this one will suffice. Okay. So this is the location of the Eden. It'll be right over here close to the mouth of the Persian Gulf. To the right of it was these mountains, okay? It was the Zargos Mountain, all right? Of mountains and rivers, he took account. Of valleys and plains, he took measurements. Where a landing place to establish a place for the rocket ships to land, he was seeking. Of mountain and rivers, he took account. Of valleys and plains, he took measurements. To snow-covered mountains, on the Eden's north side, he took a liking. Okay? To snow-covered mountains, so we're going to follow these mountains. We're going to follow these mountains northward. Okay? To snow-covered mountains on the Eden's north side, he took a liking. The tallest trees he ever saw grew there in a cedar forest. Did y'all hear that? That's a key. That's a very key piece of information. Okay? He says, let me read that one more time. The snow-covered mountains on the Eden's north side, he took a liking. The tallest trees he ever saw grew there in a cedar forest. So if we was to find this place, we got to find a mountainous region with a cedar forest. Okay, so where does that place exist? Where can we find this region over here? Okay. Remember yesterday I was talking to y'all about Baalbek? About Baalbek being let's put the Baalbek stones up one more time so we can understand what we're talking about, okay? We're talking about this place right here, this building, this structure right here. This is the structure that the Anunnaki built. The significance of this structure is the large megalithic stones that they used to build it. These stones are impossible for us to use today. These stones are 660,000 pounds apiece. If you see right here to the right, you see they got it in a red square. Everybody see the red square? That's a man. Look how small this man is compared to these stones. Look at these little black shadows up here. They give you a representation of how big that man is in comparison to them stones. We all clear that we seeing that this man look like an ant in comparison to them stones, right? He looks like an ant in comparison to those stones, right? The trillion at Baalbek shatters all logical explanation and is a great example of lost advanced engineering techniques. The three supermassive blocks measuring 22 meters in length, 5 meters in height, and having a width of 3.5 meters. Guys, these some big, huge fucking blocks. The weight of these massive stones range between 1 and 2,000 tons. Impossible for man to access. Let me. Let's try this one. Okay, y'all see it? There you go. Look how big this thing is, guys. That's one brick. That's one brick. Okay, so you see what we dealing with? We dealing with people who dealing with something like that, okay? That's one brick. Okay, now let's get back to the description of the location. Okay, family, here we go. So this is the north. This is north of the Eden. This is Lebanon. If you go back down south, you'll go right back down. You'll go right back down to the area of the Persian Gulf region. Okay. So this is north. All right. Now, I've already told y'all that Baalbek is in Lebanon. Right. We already established that this is where you find it. So if the Anunnaki are telling the truth, we should be able to find a cedar forest in this area as well. The beautiful thing about this map is that it indicates landscape. So on this map, they got a key over here that tells you which part is the forest, which part is mountain, and which part is nature reserve. Right here, guys. You see that? You see the forest sign? That says the Tamarine Cedar Forest. This is the Tamarine Cedar Forest. In the north side of the Eden, in the mountains. Look, this is all mountains. So we got a cedar forest in the mountains on the north side of the Eden. Now you see why these people are not lying? They just telling us where they built shit. They didn't say, hey man, I built it in Lebanon. They say, I built it on the north side of the Eden in the snow-capped mountains in the cedar forest. So you got to go find that. And when you go find that, you find Baalbek. Okay? Beautiful. That gives validation to what we're learning. This information is true. This coming from the Sumerian text. Okay? So watch this. He's going to give you another piece of validation as well. Watch this. To snow-covered mountains on the Eden's north side, he took a liking. The tallest trees he ever saw grew there in a cedar forest. There above a mountain valley with power beams, the surface he flattened. Great stones from the hillside the heroes quarried and cut to size. Great stones. You just seen them great stones, right? I just showed you the great stones. Look, he said they cut them from the hillside. Great stones, big old ass, straight from the mountain. Cut them straight out the mountain. Great stones, cut from the hillsides, quarried and cut to size. To uphold the platform with sky ships, they carried and emplaced them. To uphold the platform for sky ships, they carried and emplaced them. Right? With satisfaction did Enlil the handiwork consider. A work beyond belief, indeed it was. A structure of everlasting. Yes, it is. Still standing today. And it's still standing today. A structure of everlasting. Most of what they built still stands today. Think about that. Most of what the Anunnaki shit, Baalbek, Baalbek probably about 200,000 years old. Still standing today. Come on. An abode for himself on the crest of the mountain was his desire. Of the tall trees in the cedar forest, long beams were prepared. Of them, the construction of an abode for himself he decreed. The abode of the north crest he named it. On Nibiru, a new celestial chariot for soaring off was prepared. New kinds of rocket ships, sky ships, that which Enki had designed, it was transporting. A fresh group of 50 from Nibiru it was taking, chosen females among them. So remember, they about to receive all the big equipment. They about to receive more help. They about to get their women. They got some women coming, okay? I don't think everybody woman coming, but if you are Anunnaki elite, your woman on the way, okay? But these women are useful. These are nurses. These are going to be the women that are going to be serving as the nurses, okay? By Ninmah, who was known as Exalted Lady, they were commanded. In succor and healing, they were trained. Okay, so these are nurses. They were trained in succor and healing. Ninmah is a name you need to know. Okay, so if you're taking notes, write down the name Ninmah, Ninmah. She is also a very important character. Okay? When we talk about let us create man in our image, she was one of the us. She one of the us in the air. Okay, she a big part of that. Enki and his son Ningazita worked side by side to genetically alter the Homo sapien. Okay? Ninma. She also going to be known as Ninhursag as well, but we'll get there. Ninma was a daughter of Anu. She was a half-sister, not a full sister, of Enki and Enlil she was, okay? So they make sure you know that she was a half-sister, because I told y'all their incestuous relationship, the only way it could work is if these relationships are with a half-sister. And when they say half, they means like, okay, we got the same daddy, we don't got the same mama, okay? So I guess, I don't know, because I'm not interested in incest, but I guess if you have relations with a sister that you don't share the same mom and dad, you can, you know, escape the ramifications of an incestuous birth, okay? So I guess that's how that works. But you know, if you having sex with somebody that's got the same mom and daddy with you, then you're gonna have a monster. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Something ain't gonna be right. So anyway, she was a daughter of Anu, but but she had sex with her brothers. She had sex with her brothers. She was in a full-on relationship with Enki. And I told y'all that this Anunnaki information like a goddamn soap opera. You want to know what she did? She cheated on Enki with his brother Enlil. As Nibiru turns. So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But Ninma was in a relationship with Enki. And like I said, you know, she ended up cheating on Enki with Enlil. Okay? And there's some ramifications as a result of that. But we'll get there. But she's the lead nurse. Okay? So if you wanna put something down, you can put Ninma, lead Anunnaki nurse, head nurse. Okay? In the treating of ailments, she excelled. To the complaints from earth, she gave much attention. A healing she prepared. The course of prior chariots on tablets of destiny recorded, Nungal, its pilot, did follow. Unharmed, it reached the planet Mars. It circled the planet. Slowly to its surface, it descended. A faint beaming, a group of heroes followed. So you remember that, do y'all remember when Anu told Anzu, when Anzu said that he was going to stay behind and stay with Alalu until he died? And y'all remember Anu telling Anzu that, hey, I'm going to honor you for doing this if you stay, okay? I'm going to make you the commander of the way station on Mars. He says that when we come back, when we send supplies to Earth and we come back to Mars, if you're alive, we're going to honor you in this way. So now they are stopping back by Mars to see if Anzu is still alive, okay? Beside a lake shore, Anzu they found. From his helmet, the signals were beaming. Anzu himself, without motion, lay prostrate, as if he was dead. Ninma touched his face. To his heart, she gave attention. So he was dead, okay? I don't know how long he was dead, but he was dead, okay? Now let's check this out. You're finna get your first taste of Anunnaki ability and technology. Check this out. From her pouch, she took out the pulsar, what they call the pulsar. I don't know what kind of technology that is, but they call it the pulsar. From her pouch, she took out the pulsar. Upon Anzu's heart pulsing, she directed. From her pouch, she took out the emitter. Its crystal's life-giving emissions on his body, she directed. 60 times did Ninma direct the pulsar. 60 times the emitter she directed. So maybe the poster was like paddles. You know how like when they try to revive somebody and they put them clear, whoop, clear. Whoop. So maybe it's like those paddles, right? Probably a little bit more technically advanced than the paddles, but kind of like that concept. On the 60th time, Anzu opened his eyes. With his lips, he motioned. Gently upon his face, Ninmah poured the water of life. His lips, with it, she wetted. Gently, he rose. Gently in his mouth, the food of life she placed. Okay? So down the line, you're going to find out that on the Nibiru, they got some special water and they got some special fruit or bread that you can eat that will extend your life. Okay? So we're going to get there. I just want to plant a seed. They got a special water and a special fruit or plant that will extend your life. Okay? We'll get there. Just plant seeds. So she placed the food of life in his mouth. About Alalu, they then inquired. Of Alalu's death, Anzu told them. He led them to a great rock from the plain heavenward protruding. Okay? So when they asked him about Alalu, he told them, hey man, that nigga dead. He been died. That dick in his stomach killed him 2 days after we got here. Okay? So they wanted to see Alalu's body. Right? So he led them to a great rock. I guess it was a big old piece of mountain. Right? From the plain heavenward protruding. There to them what had happened he was telling. Alalu soon after the landing from unremitting pain began to scream. From his mouth, his innards, he was spitting. In agony, he peered over the wall. Thus was Anzu to them saying, he led them to a great rock, like a mountain from the plain heavenward rising. In the great rock, a cave I found. Alalu's corpse therein I hid. Its entrance with stones I covered. So was Anzu to them saying. They followed him to the rock. The stones they removed. The cave they entered. Inside, what of Alalu remained they found. He who once on Nibiru a king was a pile of bones in a cave now lying. Okay? So they wanted to see the body. He said it's this big old ass stone, this big old mountain structure that's coming out the earth, protruding to the heavens. Inside of that, I found a cave. I left his body. It's been almost probably 6,000 to 7,000 years. So his body is nothing more than a pile of bones at this point. For the first time in the annals of Nibiru, a king not on Nibiru has died. Not on Nibiru he was buried. So they basically, like I told you, he's still remembered as a king on Nibiru. So they saying for the first time, one of our kings have died in a foreign place, and he was buried in a foreign place. Okay? So you can clearly see that they still see him as a king, right? So did Ninmah say, let him in peace rest for eternity, she was saying. The cave's entrance again with stones covered. The image of Alalu upon the great rock mountain with beams they carved. Let me read that one more time. The image of Alalu upon the great rock mountain with beams they carved. You ever seen the face on Mars? Give me some fives in the chat if you know about the face on Mars. Okay, so first, let's just take a look at the face on Mars. All right, this is a close-up composite. This is a close-up composite of the face on Mars. These motherfuckers took a mountain and turned it into a face. Now let's see if it lines up with what we see, okay? Let's read. We're going to see with their description of what they did, if it lines up with what we see. Y'all ready? They showed him wearing an eagle's helmet. His face they made uncovered. They showed him wearing an eagle's helmet, which they called, like their like an astronaut's helmet, and they left his face uncovered. Ain't that interesting, gang? Once again, this is how it looks. This is an actual picture of it. You just seen a composite picture of a up-close composite. This is what it looks like from satellites, okay? They dealt with this in the movie Mission to Mars as well. If you ever seen the movie, I think Don Cheadle stars in the movie Mission to Mars. Mars. No, my love, this ain't got nothing to do with what you call Christ. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing. Honestly, Corlisa, I don't know if you've been following me, my love. I kind of explained where the concept of Christ comes from. Like, it's a little bit complex if you don't understand. Christ is not a person. Christ is a process. The man Yeshua was teaching people how to achieve Christ consciousness. So I don't know if you've been following me long enough to hear me talk about that, but these are some of the things I cover. So that's I told you everything you've been taught, my love, is a lie. Okay, I'm sorry how that sounds, but I'm just being honest. Every single thing that you hold near and dear to your heart is a lie or a half truth. Like, that's the whole purpose for my class, is to give my people. I don't have a reason to lie to y'all. I don't have an agenda. Like, yeah, I don't have an agenda like the powers that be. They had a reason to lie to y'all. I'm here to tell you the truth, okay? Everything you've been given was a lie, guys. Okay? It's always a lie. This concept, the concept of like this Jesus guy, they perverted all of the proper teachings and understandings. Okay? I'm just sorry, guys. If Jesus and God worked the way everybody said that Jesus and God worked, all of this evil wouldn't be the way it is. Now, when I gave y'all my system of God, I explained to y'all that everything happens for a purpose. So in my system of God, all of the evil and shit you see, it makes sense. It's a part of the simulation. But if you believe in the religion system of God, then all of this evilness and all of this don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Based off of the religious perspective. So, yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with the Christ, but we'll get there. We'll get to the portion of the story about Yeshua. At the end of this course, I do a segment called The True Story of Yeshua. Okay? So when we get to the end of this course, I'll share the true story of Yeshua with y'all. So you can see the difference in Yahshua and the difference in the dude y'all call Jesus. And then I'll explain to y'all why the name Jesus exists and what that name connotates, okay? Because they actually got you worshiping Zeus, Jesus. That's what the name Jesus they gave you. They got you worshiping Zeus, Jesus, God Zeus. J-E is the etymology of Jehovah. Jesus is the etymology of Zeus. So when you're worshiping this Jesus guy, when you're calling on Jesus, all you're doing is calling on the god Zeus, who is also the god Amun-Ra. Okay, that's why I told you this information is incredibly complex. But at the end of this course, you're going to understand who is the God of Christianity. And you're going to understand, when I say the God of Christianity, that don't mean a person to be worshiped. That's just a person perceived as God, okay? It's a complex course, gang. Y'all got to hang with me, okay? So back to Mars. The face on Mars is located right next to what they call the Cydonia Plaza. Do we have anybody in here familiar with the Cydonia Plaza? You might have heard of Cydonia, Arizona. So a lot of UFO anomalies take place in Cydonia, Arizona. All right, so this is the Cydonia Plaza, guys. And in the Cydonia Plaza, you got the face, and adjacent to the face, you got pyramids. You got pyramids like Giza, pyramids that's bigger than Giza. All right. Now, you ready for the kicker? Y'all ready for the kicker? These pyramid structures, all of these are pyramid structures. All of these is civilizations, right? On Mars. So Mars has a Giza site the same way we have in Kim, or what you call Egypt. Okay? The Cydonia Plaza is the same as Giza. Okay? Now watch this. This is how freaky it gets. The pyramids in Egypt are structured to align with Orion. The pyramids on Mars are structured to align with the pyramids on Earth. They say that if you put Mars right over the top of Earth, the pyramids going to touch. As above, so below. They build a lot of things based on this mindset, this perspective, as above, so below. The Cydonia Plaza in Mars is directly aligned with the pyramids of Giza. Swear to God, please do your research. Check me, validate that. Go check it. Now, the fact that they got the Cydonia Plaza on Mars also validates who built what we call the Egyptian civilization. Like your brother Chief Kuttah has told you time and time again, people did not build the Giza platform, the Giza plateau. The Anunnaki designed it, and the earthlings pushed bricks into place, swept. They did all the little labor around the site. But the construction, the design was done by the Anunnaki and the Igigi. Okay? These were the big, huge men that could pick blocks up, that could do all of this stuff. Okay? So the face on Mars is Mr. Alalu Jakes. Okay, so put that in your pocket. The face on Mars is Alalu. And the Giza platform is aligned with the Cydonia platform on Mars because it was designed by the same people. They had a way station on Mars, had one on the moon, had one on Saturn. Come on with it, okay? They showed him wearing an eagle's helmet. His face they made uncovered. Let the image of Alalu forever gaze toward Nibiru that he ruled, toward the earth whose gold he discovered. So Ninmah, exalted lady, in the name of her father, Anu, did declare, as for you, Anzu, to you Anu the king his promise shall be keeping. 20 heroes with you shall remain here. The way stations building to begin. Rocket ships from earth, the golden oars shall deliver here. Celestial chariots from here to Nibiru shall transport the gold. Hundreds of heroes will make their abode on Mars. You, Anzu, shall be their commander. Thus, the great lady, in the name of her father, Anzu, to Anzu, did say, my life I owe to you, great lady, so was Anzu saying. My gratitude to Anu shall not have any limits. From the planet Mars, the chariot departed. Toward the earth, the journey, it continued. So this is where I'm going to close it up for today, guys, for Friday's class. Till we break, we're going to break, come back Monday. And I'm going to stop right here because let me tell you why. When we come back on Monday, we begin with Operation Get the Gold. All right? That's when everything starts. That's when they start the big mining. Some of the problems going to start popping up. A lot of things we're going to see unfold, guys. A lot of things that you've been taught. You're going to get the truth of. I promise you that. That's why it's worth it to hang around. That's why it's worth it to be consistent. We just in the beginning. We ain't even got to the what they call the creation of man. What you're learning right now is that the Anunnaki was on your earth for 250,000 years before they impacted you. So they had their own world here. They had their own world here before we even came into the existence of what we are, okay? So we're going to see their world unfold, then we're going to see the necessity to use us, okay? So I hope everybody enjoyed today, man, the little pieces of information that we was able to receive. Like I say, we're getting ready for an action-packed week next week. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's got to be explained. But like I say, guys, my aim is to give you the truth. That's my only agenda, is to give y'all the truth. It's going to take you away from the stuff that they indoctrinated us on, but it's going to bring you closer in your relationship to the Most High. I promise you.